Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Columbus on this beautiful day that God has made. So let us rejoice and be glad in it. My name is Shirley Williams, and I'm a licensed Unity teacher, and I am your platform's assistant today. Our speaker today is Cedric Miller, and we are so glad to have him. It's been too long, Cedric. Welcome back. Looking forward to your talk today. And again, I want to welcome all of you. It's so great to see you in person. As always, we begin our service with prayer. So let us join together in prayer now by closing your eyes and becoming still and centered in one Christ mind. Turn from outer concerns. Be right here, right now, in this precious moment. Become aware of God as a living, loving presence, which is within each of us. In this loving awareness, we know the truth of God's love. We proclaim as Jesus did, God and I are one. This mighty presence empowers, protects, and infills us right now. We know with certainty that God radiates forth from and through us, clearing our way. Our way is paved with good. Nothing but good awaits us. Our mind, body, and all circumstances are cleansed, renewed, and regenerated into the newness of life. We hold the same for the loved ones for whom we pray. We hold the same for the world. We give thanks with complete assurance that the indwelling Christ is working in and through us, bringing forth the highest evolution for ourselves and for all of mankind. We say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. We're going to do our statement of faith. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, all love. I invite you to close your eyes just for a moment. Take a deep breath and focus your mind on one thought in that statement. Hold it in consciousness. From the consciousness of that one thought, let us again affirm our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, all love. Our vision statement. This is Unity's vision statement. Unity is a way of life. We work together in divine partnership with one another and with Spirit to achieve this vision. United in spirit, we are a loving community, co-creating a world of peace, abundance, and joy for all. Let us affirm this together. United in spirit, we are a loving community, co-creating a world of peace, abundance, and joy for all. Unity's mission, our mission statement. We are a mission-centric, values-focused ministry. Through our services, classes, and other programs, we fulfill this mission. With God as our source, Unity of Columbus inspires people to realize and express their divine nature in an awakening world. Let us affirm this statement together. With God as our source, Unity of Columbus inspires people to realize and express their divine nature in an awakening world. Our core values, we answer the call of spirit. We are creative, authentic, learning, and loving. These are our core values, the DNA of our spiritual community. Unity is the home of the daily word. This is the daily word. And the word today is strength. Divine strength invigorates my body and quickens my mind. If I feel my energy waning during a time of vigorous physical or mental activity, if my get up and go has got up and gone, I remember these inspiring words from the Prayer of Faith by Hannah Moore Cohouse. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. The strength of God is my strength, and is more than sufficient to meet my every need. More than toughness or forcefulness, spiritual strength is quiet fortitude, a rootedness in the inexhaustible wellspring of the divine. Today, I release all thought of weakness or impossibility. I feel the power of divine strength flowing through me, invigorating my body and bringing renewed clarity to my thoughts. The strength of God is my strength. From 1 Corinthians 1:25, for God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. Divine strength invigorates my body and quickens my mind. Let's say that affirmation together. Divine strength invigorates my body and quickens my mind. And so it is.
If you could, just take a moment, close your eyes. With your both feet flat on the floor, just become aware of the bottoms of your feet. Relax your feet and let them feel the energy that comes up from the floor. But it's a peaceful energy. You don't have to do anything but be aware of the bottoms of your feet on the floor and the strength of the infinite. Allow it to come up through your legs. Just become aware of your calves and that they're relaxed, and you're allowing that energy, that strength of God to flow up through your calves to your knees and make that bend easily. You're not blocking this with any tension in your thighs. Feel it make the curve. It's up at your waist. It's going up your spine. It's spreading out to the sides. It's the energy of God. It's peaceful. All you have to do is let it. As that energy of God comes up all the way to your shoulders and radiates out through your arms, through the whole of your arms, it's the calm, peaceful energy of the strength of God, still flowing through the floor, now flowing up your neck, the back of your neck, going around to the front of your neck. Feeling it on the underside of your jaw, feeling it on the sides of your face. Now be aware of that energy from the floor all the way through your feet up into your brain, into your head. It's filling your whole self. Knowing that we're together in this peace of God. Let's just take it to the silence. Coming back in the room. That strength of God can be with us all day. If you open your eyes and come in the room, you know how when you've been dumped and all you want to do is sit on the couch? Like, you don't have energy to even get up and make food. You don't even have energy to call for takeout. But what if that person you were pining for called you on the phone and said, "I have second thoughts. Could you please come over?" What would happen? You would get energy so fast. You would go and take the best shower you could as fast as you could put on their favorite clothes. You'd be over there so fast. Where'd that energy come from? It was the strength of God, and it was with you the whole time. You didn't have to wait. Good morning or evening, friends. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. Love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. the force of evil plans to make you its possession. And it will, if we let it, destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If love and peace you treasure, then you'll hear me when I say, love's in need of a love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before we've gone too far. Don't you know love's in need of love today? Just that. Oh, no. Love's in need of love today. Sing with me just now. Love's in need of love today. That energy of God is quiet. Love's in need of love today. Again, sorry about that, people online. I know it was a hard trip there. Yep, you're on.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Unity of Columbus. Happy to be back. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone online. And you know, some good news is that this pandemic is about to wrap up. So let's give a hand to that, to all the people out there, healthcare workers and teachers and all the people who are giving us these doses and such. I took my second dose Friday, so I'm happy of that. And my doctor said I can only infect cats, birds, and dinosaurs now. So just glad it wasn't woolly mammoths. So we want to say hello also to our online audience, and thank you for being there with us during these times and such. Of course, if you live in the area, you want to come by the church. It's an absolutely beautiful church, a lot of nice people, just good messages and good classes and such. So you want to be a part of that. So if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, there's a little arrow on the bottom of it. And you can press that little arrow to invite your friends and families and neighbors to tune in right now. So we want to give you a second to do that. We're going to bring you a very powerful message that we think you'll be able to make use in your daily life, because we know that in spirituality, we learn these concepts, but it's also about taking it out there on the court, taking it out there in your life. So how does these spiritual principles affect your work life? How does it affect your marriage, your relationship, your family, your community? And that's what it's all about. So again, we're going to thank you for being here, and I'm so happy to be back at Unity of Columbus. Again, such a beautiful place. Each time I step inside the church and see the window panes and such, it's like, wow, really, really good design went into the church. So today we're going to be talking about connecting with your sacred self. And for those who are kind of new to spirituality, you might say, well, what is my sacred self? Well, there was a philosopher once, and he was talking about the two selves, almost as if we have two selves within us. And that's the small self, which is basically driven by our ego. But then there's the large self, which is our natural abilities and our connectedness to God, to source energy. And I want to read a little something from Ephesians 3:20. And it says, "Now to him who is able to do more abundantly than all we ask or think, or according to the power at work within us." Within us. And I found that interesting. I remember some years ago hearing a message. I think it was the 4T class. Many of people in Unity may be familiar with the 4T program. And he kept giving this message of the power that does the work within me. And I never could understand that. I was like, what is working within me? But it turns out that there is a power that works within us when we connect with us with that power. We have abilities that go beyond our regular abilities. It's taking things to a whole new level. It actually is working in partnership. We may remember that sometimes we'll see cars that says, God is my co-pilot. Well, that means spirit that is working within me to bring about and to do things on a level, again, that I can do by myself. And some of us, we call that intuition, like those ideas that come to us and just the ability to do things, again, at a whole new level. And Dr. Wayne Dyer is a person that many of you read his books and know about Dr. Wayne Dyer. I had a chance to meet Dr. Wayne Dyer probably about 20 years ago at Renaissance Unity back in Michigan. And we have a lot of things in common. We graduated from the same college, Wayne State University. We both spent a lot of time in Detroit. And he has a book that's called The Power of Intention. And for me, the power of intention really gets at what it looks like. Like, what does it look like when I'm fully connected with source energy? And he gave 5 different aspects of how a person who is truly connected to source, and there are people who are connected, and you can connect. So a part of this sermon here this morning is showing you how to do this. Now, for many of us, or if you're like me, I bought many spiritual books. And my thinking was that was going to be the road to make it happen. Like, once I read this book, I'm connected. And, everything would change, and I'm flowing in abundance and all of these things. But I come to find out that I needed to do more than read books. Although books are good, but books to give knowledge. And knowledge is the ability to know something and even the ability to teach something. But then there's a whole other aspect that we bring in, and that's being. Being is something that is using us, meaning that creativity. Connecting to source energy gives us creativity. If we look around us and we look at nature and we see all the different trees and all the different animals and such that source energy created, that took a creative being. I have a friend who lives in another country, Elena, and she says she goes to this cafe and she looks out the cafe window and she sees people walking past, and she says to herself, wow, God is such a great artist. God is such a great artist. Can you imagine that? Billions and billions and billions of people, and each person have their own individuality, their own personality, their own look, except for twins. But that's an exception. But they have all this creativity that goes on. And you remember Michelangelo, somebody said, wow, how did you take this chisel and you were just able to create this David? He said, no, David was already in the marble. I just chipped away at the things that are around David. And that's what we have to do to connect with source energy, is chip away those things that are blocking us from being 100% connected with that source energy. Another of the power of intention is kindness. Like, am I kind every day? And of course, there's a difference between being kind and being nice. Nice is more of I'm doing this to get something out of this. Kindness is a thing where I'm valuing everyone. It's like that unconditional love. It's like you don't have to do anything to, I'm not getting anything out of being kind to you. I'm just doing it because I love you. I love you just for who you are and just for your beliefs. Your beliefs don't have to be my beliefs. You know, Joel has Joel's belief. Jill has Jill's belief. But you know what? They're okay with me. That's kindness. And when we connect to that source energy, that energy goes within us. And there are several different suggestions out there. When people see us doing the act of kindness, you know, allowing someone to pull in front of us on the freeway and such, not only does it affect us and the person that we allow to go in, but it radiates and it affects all the people that's in that vicinity. Just imagine what the world would be like if we all operate in kindness every day. Just imagine all the things that we create. And you'll notice that all of these elements are connected. So if I'm being kind, if I'm being unconditional love, you won't be surprised by how your creativity will begin to pick up. And then again, Dr. Dyer called these dormant energies. These are energies within us that are waiting, that are there. And believe me, I'm speaking from experience, that are waiting to come out and to be active. You know, we have to activate it. And once it becomes activated, you can bet your quality of life will change. Your quality of life will change. Another aspect of the power of intention is love. And love is a very much misunderstood word. A lot of times we look at love as if, again, it could be a love because we want something in the situation. That's conditional love. Conditional love is, yeah, I love you, but you got to take out that trash. Or, you know, I love you, but hey, you know, I got some bills to pay here. But that, again, that unconditional love is that love where it's like when you love your child. You know, my daughter, she is about to turn 14 here at the end of the month. And she's going to high school. And then I look at her going to high school, I'm thinking to myself, where did the time go? And I find myself at night thinking, wow, you know, really only have 4 more years. And this kid is out there in the world, and, you know, things will change. And time went by so fast. And so, but she used that as a way when we go to the mall to say, hey, Dad, you know, I need a new T-shirt, so I know you're going to be missing me, but there's a new sale that's going on, and these clothes aren't going to be out here next week, so let's just show that love. And I fall for it all the time. And my friends say, I told a friend this down in Athens, and she said, oh, we always knew your daughter had you wrapped around her finger. So another aspect of the power of intuition is beauty. Seeing beauty. You know, there's a lot of beauty around us. We always have to take that in, even in the worst of time. There's always beauty. But beauty is not only seeing it, but it's being it. It's being it. Do you recognize the beauty in you? You know, when you wake up in the morning, do you say to yourself, I'm a beautiful person. I'm a beautiful person. And you are, because you were created that way. You were created that way. But do we take the time to stop and watch a butterfly? Or do we take out time to go into a park? You know, a friend invited me. I've been in Columbus here now for 3 years. Really, I say 2, because a year of it I'd spent inside, working remotely. And he invited me to this national park, Blacklink. Am I pronouncing that? Or Blacklink? And I said, wow, this park is amazing. And it was only 5 miles away from me. So once I get out to this park and I just looked around and you see all this beauty, you see the sunshine, you see people enjoying themselves, that's really taking in beauty. And when we take in nature, when we spend time in nature and we draw in that beauty, you'll be surprised how much you begin to really, really gravitate more and more towards beauty, and how that becomes a part of your personality and the way that you interact with people, and seeing beauty in other people. Seeing beauty in other people. Can you go to any country in the world, or can you put yourself in front of any type of individuals that's different from yourself and see beauty in that group of people, or in that person, or in that person's language, or in that person's food, or in that person's religious belief? Can you see beauty all across humanity? When you're connected with source energy, you're able to see beauty in everyone. And everyone becomes your family. And we are all our family. We all are family. No matter what the news reports say, we all are family. And we're all connected. Expansion. Everything in the universe is expanding. It's expanding all of the time, including the universe. And so having a sense of expansion. Am I expansion or contraction? Am I expanding? Am I growing? Or am I contracting? When I get up in the morning, when I go about my week, am I doing something that's giving me aliveness, that makes me feel like I'm using all of my talents? Do I find that I have new friends? Do I have new hobbies? Am I seeing new things? Do I have new ideas? I remember seeing this minister once down in Athens, Georgia, and he gave this sermon about these disciples that were in a fishing boat. And it was at the end of the day, and they were washing their nets. They were washing their nets. And that's what they used to do back in the day. They would wash their nets. And he said, how many of us in our lives, when we see our lives, or we see our possibilities, that we're washing our nets, we're going through day-to-day activities, but we're really kind of, 20 years ago I would have had interest in that, but now, I'm at a point now where I'm just winding this up here. Or are we saying, hey, I have so many things that I want to do. There's so many parts of the world that I want to see. There's so many people that I want to do. I want to write this book. I want to write some poetry. I'm taking a dance class. Are we expanding? Because that's a part of how we were created, and that's the universe. If you ever watch this Netflix series, it's called The Universe. And it is just so mind-blowing just to see all these amazing planets and stars and universes and such. And I say to myself, man, God must have really been busy. There's so much that we haven't even seen. There's such thing as a planet that's completely made out of diamond? A complete planet that's made out of diamond. It's 3 times the size of the Earth. Am I expanding my knowledge? Am I learning new languages? Am I thinking about a business opportunity that I wanted to do? This business that I wanted to start many years ago, have I just said, Or am I taking on new interests? And that's part of our expansion. Unlimited abundance. You know, what was it, Bob? I can't think of his name now. He said, we were born rich. We were all born in abundance. We're taught poverty, we're taught lack. But that's not a part of our nature. That is not a part of our nature. I think I read once where I'm probably not getting this number right, but I'm somewhere in the ballpark. There may be 200 different types of apples in the world. You know, think about that. When the Creator created the world, the Creator was creating from abundance. And we all have abundance. We have abundance of talents. You'll be surprised the many talents that you have if you just put that to work, or you just take out time during your day and say, you know, abundance is not just money. Abundance is having good health, it's having happiness, it's having just many, many great ideas. Abundance is around us. Receptivity, you know, and openness in the world, allowing that divine energy to flow through us. Am I receptive to everyone? Am I receptive? You know, when people are in my presence, do they feel at peace, or do they feel that, you know, I'm shutting down or not taking in consideration the things that they want to talk about? Am I a receptive person? And these are all the things for myself that I had to get with. You know, again, like many of us, when we take on these different spiritual paths, we change. We become a new person altogether. A new person. The way that we operate and the way that we do things. You know, Deepak Chopra said in his book, The 7 Secrets of Success, our true essence is beyond the ego. You know, and the ego, many people call it edging God out. You know, it's that part of our mind that says that, you know, I can do this. I'm important. I'm number one. It's about me, my, and me. But beyond that is our true self. It is fearless. It is free. Free. You know what it's about to be free? It's like when you go in and you just you can wear any clothes that you want to wear. You can smile. People who are free, they have a sense of freedom. They smile. You see them and they're just enjoying themselves and enjoying the things that they do. It is immune to criticism. You know, we aren't operating out of looking good to people. Not looking good. And I know what that's like. You know, when we grow up as kids, you know, the parents may say, well, you know, you want to do this and do this, so everybody will like you. And then our peer groups and such. But it's beyond criticism. And it does not fear any challenge. Any challenge. And we find that out particularly during this time, during the pandemic. You know, you may know of people who are going through the pandemic and they're running in circles. Just people who are running in circles. You know, people who are saying, I don't know how this year is going to go for me. I don't know how on and on and on. But then you can find people who are just at peace. You know, they're like that house that's built on a solid foundation. You know, the winds come in, but they aren't moved. They stand there. The house aren't built on sand, but on solid foundation. So after all that said, how do I connect? How do I connect? That all sounds good. I'm in for it. I'll buy that. Sign me up. How do I connect? Because that's where we're at, right? Well, there's several different approaches. One is through the arts. Through the arts. You know, how much time do we spend, you know, listening to beautiful music, or looking at a beautiful painting, or taking on a hobby? I used to go to this dance class. And at that time, I would substitute for a friend of mine. And I would watch how people change in a dance class over time. You know, when they come in, and there was a lot of people in the medical field. It was down the street from a medical center. And the person would come in, they look serious, and they got this kind of really set way of being and such. But you notice after 1 week, they loosen up a little bit, they smile a little bit more. After 2 weeks, you know, the person is wearing some bright clothes. And I saw this like over and over and over. By week 3, they've gone out and bought some jewelry and such. And by week 4, it's like, hey, is this the same person that came into the class a few weeks ago? And that is that their spirit is opening up. And that's connecting to that source. Meditation. Meditation is so important because it teaches our mind to be quiet. It's taking that moment in the morning, in the afternoon, putting that time aside to go within. Or as Marianne Williamson used to say, it's like, you know, water running down on us and washing off those things that built up upon us during that day. It's a mental cleaning. And 12-step programs. 12-step programs are, I would say, one of the best ways that you can really put your past in your past and create a new future. And there's many of them out there. Again, there's the 4T class, but I'm sure you can Google it. 12-step programs. Those programs really dive in, and you're doing these personal inventories and such, and you're really releasing, again, like Michelangelo said, you're chipping away at that marble, and you're really allowing your true self to come out and to come into being. And believe me, again, this isn't something that I think is possible. This is something that I've experienced and something that I've seen other people experience, and seeing people who evolve to the point where their quality of life, you know, at one time they may have been in continuous toxic relationships, or, you know, may have been in debt, you know, 23 credit cards and such. And all of a sudden you see the individuals later, particularly after going through a 12-step program, you know, they've cleaned up their credit, they've cleaned up their financial situations, they're in healthy relationships, they're eating healthy, they're exercising and just doing things and such, because that person is a new being. And that's connecting with Source. And again, you know, I've read many of books, and I thought that was going to be my way of connecting with source energy, was reading books and getting knowledge and knowledge and knowledge and knowledge and knowledge. And I would like to say that if that was possible to do, I would suggest doing it. But in my own experience, working with others in a group setting, in a class setting, you'll have this ability to really get that work done. And it is permanent, because you're removing energies and thoughts and all these things that block you from creating a very happy life. I took this class. Many of you may have heard of Landmark Education. And I took a class last fall. It's called Be Here Now. It's about being present and releasing upsets in your life. And an upset is a thought that you continuously have. You know, someone cutting you off in traffic. Yeah, that's a temporary upset. But you get over it. You know, a few minutes later, you'll never see that person again. But how many of us have upsets that are like continuous? And these things, you know, you get ready to go to bed and it's like, oh yeah, Jill. You go to bed, and then the next day, John. So you have to write out all your upsets. Again, these are these continuous things that bother you, that really pester you. You know, it could be 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And you journal it out. you'd write it out. And I thought when I took this class, and I said, no, I may have 5 upsets. Well, it turned out to be 6 or 7 pages later that I had plenty of upsets that I had a need to release. And what changed during that time? My handwriting. I noticed that my handwriting, all of a sudden, this friend said, wow, you have a beautiful handwriting. And I said to myself, my handwriting has changed. And at first when I saw this, I was like, has my handwriting changed? Or maybe it's just for today. My handwriting changed. My cooking skills changed. Cooking. A couple of weeks ago, I asked my daughter, I said, honey, I've cooked a meal. I have some chicken and rice and, spinach and such. She said, Daddy, your chicken always tastes like rubber. I said, honey, I promise you, it's going to taste good. I said, and she tasted the food and she said, wow, Daddy, that was really good. How did you do that? I was, I just tried some different things, but these ideas, you may remember that movie Chocolate back some years ago. And there was this place in Italy where this person was making this chocolate and just people were just showing up and showing up and showing up. And the secret to the formula was love. And that again that's that spirit that is working within us. And people couldn't get enough of this chocolate. And my daughter now said, hey, Dad, are you cooking today? Something that I've been having an issue with for a few years. The quality of work, my work quality at work, it changed. At once it was, let me just get this work here done. I'm going to quickly go through it. But now I bring beauty into the work. And those little things that maybe at once that I would look past and say, well, this is not going to make that much difference. It's like, no. Spirit says it has to be done in integrity. We're not going to slip past this. It has to be done in wonderful quality. And it has to be beautiful also. Because again, we're connecting these. It's not like one of these types of intention is by itself. So your work, all of a sudden you have these creative ideas at work. And you're being kind with your coworkers. And that love is flowing through you to where your quality of work, and you can read, if you want to go back and read many spiritual books, there's a repeat and repeat and repeat that when my intention in my work is done out of love, the quality of it shoots through the roof. The quality of it shoots through the roof. And you'll find that people will say, I want this person to handle this. You'll be called into leadership quite often. Your work quality will change, and people will notice that. Beauty. You'll begin to create things and ideas and such that people hadn't thought about. Again, it's not me. And whenever the ego comes in and says, hey, that's you doing that. That's you. I always stop and say, it's the spirit within that does the work. And that puts my ego in check. Because when these things begin to happen, and we're creating this success, and we have the attention and the admiration, that's when a lot of people who are successful get off track. And that's how they lose their success, because they say, this is me. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And that's when the ego takes over, and that's when that success goes down. And they've shown even with Olympic trainers, Olympic athletes, when they're thinking that I'm doing this for the team, their success rate goes through the roof. When they think to themselves, I just want to get this here to set a record and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, boom. Next thing you know, they're going down and they're going fast and they trip up, and it's like, wow, I didn't think I would trip up here in the middle of this race. But it's because of where the mind is. So we always want to keep in mind that it's love. At the end of the day, it's love. And in this month here, in unity. We're talking about power. And that's what power is. Power in our world, we can consider it to be people who got a $1 million car, or a person who's got a title, president of da-da-da-da, or doctor da-da-da-da. But that's not powers. Those are elements of power. True power is our ability to connect with our source within. Now, are those things possible or available for a person that's connected to their source energy? Of course. And we know of individuals whom are successful people, who are wealthy people, but also are people who contribute, people who show compassion, people who show love, and people who are just giving people. So there's a possibility of having both of those function at one time. Just because we're connected to source energy, it doesn't mean that we have to go into a mountain and give up our assets and become eat bread and water for 40 years or whatever. We don't have to go through all that. We can have both right here, right now. So I want to give an affirmation that you would carry with you throughout your day, throughout your week, and hopefully even throughout life. And I would say, if you use this affirmation over and over and over, you would notice how your intuition just always will be there to give you answers to some of the most complex things that happen in your life. And that is, the power within does the work. The power within does the work. Thank you, everybody. I want to wish you a good week. And thank you for coming out this morning.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for that wonderful message. The power of intention. It helps us evolve rather than devolve. The power of intention helps us expand rather than contract. Thank you for that wonderful reminder. And as I said before, you've been gone too long. It's wonderful to have you back. Now is the time in our service when we tithe the gift of treasure. We prosper through the act of giving. Our ministry is supported fully by your tax-deductible tithes, gifts, and love offerings. We are so grateful for you and your giving. We live in an abundant universe, and I invite you to affirm with me our offering blessing. I'll speak it once and invite you to repeat it. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Together, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. There is a basket in the back where you can drop your tithe, and also you can go online to unityofcolumbus.org and click the donate button, or you can mail it in. But thank you so much for your tithes. We want to give thanks for all of you for being here. We really do appreciate your being here. And we give thanks to all of you who make this Sunday service the wonderful experience that it is each week. And we want to give special thanks for Jim Maneri, our musical and technical director. You are awesome. And again, a very warm thanks again to our wonderful speaker, Cedric Miller. And we do have one announcement. I did not know this, but this is Nurses Celebration Week. And Pam has a card that's going to be in Fellowship Hall. Even though you may not know a nurse personally, they have been doing a wonderful job for our entire community. And even though you don't know them, you can support them just by signing your name to the card. And that says, thank you for being here. So let us stand and affirm our prayer for protection together. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we will close by singing our peace song as we wait for Jim to switch roles real quick.
Well, as we go out this week, we give our love and appreciation to, again, all the healthcare workers, all the scientists, the political leaders, our community leaders for all the wonderful work that they're doing to bring this pandemic to an end. And we also make a commitment this week to find our authentic self and to connect with that authentic self, to take those actions to begin to unveil the true essence of who we are. And as we go through the week, let's keep in mind this affirmation: God within does the work. Thank you, everyone.